Okay, good morning. So if you remember, we started talking about how we can add, subtract, and multiply actually polynomial or algebraic expressions, but I didn't give you some kind of combination of them. Mainly, I focused on multiplication because addition and subtraction were quite simple. So the idea was there to determine which terms are similar. Similar means that the letter parts are identical. And then you group them into the group of similars and combine them if you are supposed to add them or subtract them. I also taught you how to multiply polynomials, I mean algebraic expressions like this here, okay? So this was the standard problem. So I give you two algebraic expressions like this and I ask you to multiply them. You know the rule. But I didn't focus that much on combination of them. And I have seen by experience that sometimes the students mess up actually or get confused in which operations they have to do first. So I will start, actually I want to give time a little bit to you to think about this, at least for the first two. I don't think the first two are hard. The first one is really a standard. The second one is a combination of multiplication, addition, and subtraction, but that's also very manageable. And then let us see how it goes. Then I will give you time to think about the others as well, okay? Okay, I will give you time. I think 5 minutes is enough for these two. Is even more than enough. But let us just do that. Do these two, and make sure that you are doing it precisely and be careful about your calculation to see what the answer is at the end. Okay, those who actually know what is going on, you don't need to listen to me. You can continue with the harder questions, but the people who have a little bit problem, because these are exactly at the level of the book, you really need to understand how to do these things. Some of them might be a little bit harder than the level of the book, but for example, this one, and even that one, the last one, these are at the level of the book, so you really need to know them for the exam, okay? So let me just try to refresh your memory a little bit to see how this will work. Okay. So number one, this is a very standard problem. So what you are supposed to do is just take the terms from the left-hand side, one expression, and multiply them to every one of the ones on the right. Yes. So for example, I take this a from the left factor, from the left expression, and multiply it here, and then multiply it here, and then multiply it here. When this is finished and finalized, then I go back and switch from a to minus 2b and do the same process. And at the end, I will have to detect the similar terms that might appear and then combine them. Okay, that's the rule. So what is we are doing here? I take this a multiplied by that a to the power of 2. What's the answer? This becomes a to the power of 3. And then I take a multiplied here. This is positive a, this is positive 2ab. So if you multiply, it remains positive 2a squared b. And then you take a multiplied to the last term. So this becomes plus 2ab squared. Yes? And I repeat the process again, but remember, you take this negative sign with it. Minus 2b times positive a squared becomes minus 2b a squared. And then minus 2b times here. What is the answer? Minus 2 will be multiplied by positive 2. It will give me a minus 4. And then this b here will eventually be multiplied by that b there, so this becomes ab squared. Yes, and then finally minus 2b multiplied by 2b to the power of 2. Minus 2 times positive 2, minus 4 again here. And then I have 1b coming from here, 2b's coming from here. If I multiply them, it becomes b cubed. Yes? So that is a very standard problem. And then you have to, by the way, these kinds of problems, I recommend you to do it once patiently. It's because if you just mess up a negative sign or something, then you will lose some points, but the problem is really simple. So what you need to do then, you need to ask yourself which are, if any, are similar. Okay? So then you need to have identical letter parts, unless they might differ in the order that they appear. Because you know that a squared b is the same as ba squared, because it doesn't matter in which order I multiply them. So that's also considered to be similar. So for example, this term is similar with this term, because this is a to the 2b. This is also a to the 2b, but written in a different order. And then you immediately realize that this one is also similar with that one. Okay, there are no more similar terms involved. So what you need to do, you write a to the 3, and then this one and that one are not only similar, but they are completely opposite to each other. So actually they cancel out. You don't need to write 0. You just write it like this. And then you have 2ab squared here minus 4ab squared. So be careful. So this is sometimes I have seen students get confused. Here I am multiplying. After the multiplication is finished, I am adding or subtracting. Okay? So here 2, and here is minus 4. I am not multiplying anymore. I am subtracting, which is minus 2. And the letter part is ab squared. So it becomes minus 2ab squared, and minus 4b to the power of 3 is also alone. So this is the simplified version of number 1. Okay? How many of you got exactly this answer? Oh, that's good. Oh, that's very good. Okay, let me go to number 2. So number 2, so you have to have a little bit of understanding about the priority of operations. So here I have 2 times a minus b. Here I have 3 times a minus b times b. Here I have 5 times a times b, but I have addition and subtraction. So you know that multiplication has priority over the subtraction or addition, yes? So this means that if I want to solve this problem, I would write like this. Here, first I multiply 2a inside the brackets because priority is with multiplication. So then what happens? So let us be patient and then put a pair of brackets. Inside this pair of brackets, I write the answer to this. Okay? So the answer is 2a squared. Please interrupt me if you don't understand something in the middle. Okay? So that's the answer to the first part. I really recommend you, unless you've become very skillful, I recommend you to do it in 2 steps, especially for the exam, because there is no hurry in the exam. Okay, what do you think here we can do? Okay, so here is 3, here is b, but you can move it here in your head, it becomes 3b. Is that understandable? So what I am writing in my head, I have 3a minus b. Of course, you don't need to do that. You can multiply 3a first, okay, and then multiply b second, because there are 3 numbers multiplied. But I myself prefer to save time. In my head, I move it to the other side. I want you to understand you can move it. Why? Because I can flip these 2. There is a multiplication between these 2. It doesn't matter if I multiply this by that or b by that. So this is why it doesn't matter how should I write it down, okay? But if I write it in this way, then I can write this negative sign. Be careful, I am not doing subtraction yet. So I put the subtraction here. I open a pair of brackets. In this pair of brackets, I want to write the answer to this product. So that is this product. So which is 3ba minus 3b squared. Okay? And then the rest of it is actually nothing. You just copy and paste it once more. Now you have to remove the pair of brackets. By the way, this word means this. Even in the exam, if I just simply write expand, I always implicitly mean expand and simplify. Okay, so this is, you should know. Okay, but expand, what does it mean? It means write an expression equal to your expression without any pairs of brackets left. So this shows you that this problem is not finished yet, because I have 2 pairs of brackets left, so I have to remove them. But we talked about this yesterday. Removing this doesn't have any problems at all. Nothing is behind these pair of brackets. You just remove it. But do you remember the point here? If I want to remove this, I see there is a negative sign. This negative sign, usually students take it for the first one. But this is not the case. This is for all the terms involved in that pair of brackets. So minus goes in, so it becomes minus 3ba. And this minus by minus becomes positive 3b squared. And then I have 5ab. Okay, expansion is finished here, because there are no pairs of brackets left. But this is not the end of the problem, might be, because there might be similar terms involved. Okay, I need to recognize which ones are similar, if any. And then it's clear that 3 of them are similar. Yes? And then we can continue. So this becomes 2a squared minus 2ab minus 3ba. There is no difference between ba and ab. So far, how many of them I have? Minus 5 of them. But then fortunately, there is a positive 5 also there. So in total, what is left? Nothing from all these 3. Yes? And then I have only 3b squared. So here, if you could solve this problem on your own, even though this problem is simple, it means that you understand what is going on. When it comes to the priority of operations, if you could find this one, how many of you got this exactly right? Okay, good. Okay, good. So if it means that your understanding is good. Okay, so now you have a little bit more experience. I also refresh your memory. I give you, for each one of them, I think 2 minutes is enough. So let 3, 4, and 5, 6 minutes, okay? 3, 4, and 5, 6 minutes. Okay, could you manage to, if you could manage to solve number 3, what is the final answer? Okay, so let us check that. So, okay, but the point is not just solving the problem. I can solve the problem without explanation, but I want you to understand. You need to analyze the problem in that way. So you say that, okay, how many operations are involved here? I have 2 multiplications here and there, and I have a subtraction. So I know that which one has the priority? Multiplications, yes? So this means that I have to be patient, do this multiplication, and at the end subtract. Yes? So that's the point that we are going to do. So number 3. So what I do, I put a pair of brackets for writing the answer of this product inside it. And then you have a negative sign. So that's also another way of seeing the problem. I open another pair of brackets to write the answer of that part here. Yes? So let us be patient and multiply this. This term multiplied by that term is how much? Is what? A to the power of? 18. Yes? Because you are multiplying a to the 9th by a to the 9th. So what happens? 9 plus 9 becomes a to the power of 18. And then you have a to the 9th multiplied by a to the 5th, which is positive, by the way, a to the power of 14. And then you take this one and multiply it here. So this becomes negative a to the power of 14. Agree? And then you multiply negative a to the 5th by positive a to the 5th, which becomes negative a to the 10th. Okay. And then I will do this multiplication here. So you just need to be patient. By the way, how many terms you should expect? This is also a good rule of thumb so that you make sure that you are not missing something. How many terms are involved here? 2. How many terms are involved here? 3. 2 times 3 is 6. So before simplification, you expect 6 terms here. Okay? So let us just do that. A to the power of 6 times a to the power of 12, which is a to the power of 18. Again, a to the power of 6 and a to the power of 10. Don't let this minus sign here distract you. This minus sign is already here. So what I am doing, I am taking these terms and multiplying them in. So this becomes a to the power of 16. The next term is a to the power of 14. If you don't understand, please let me know immediately, okay? Now, this is finished. I go here, this is negative. I multiply it here, there, and there. So this becomes negative a to the power of 16. And the other one becomes negative a to the power of 14. The next one becomes negative a to the power of 12. Okay, now expansion is not finished yet because I have pairs of brackets left. But here, that is a coincidence. Instead of writing all these things and then simplify them, you immediately realize that inside this pair of brackets, I can get rid of these 2 terms. Yes, it is better to do it. And then in the second pair of brackets, there are many terms I can get rid of. This one and that one are similar and opposite. This one and that one are similar and opposite. So now the time is, I have to remove the pair of brackets. I don't need to be careful for the first pair because nothing is behind that, so I just remove it. These are gone. What is left? A to the 18th and minus a to the 10th. So this becomes a to the power of 18 minus a to the power of 10. But then this is the tricky minus sign. I hope that you remember it now. So what you are supposed to do, you multiply this minus sign in. These are totally gone, and a to the power of 18 and minus a to the power of 12 is left. Now it becomes negative a to the power of 18. But what? Positive, because this minus sign will also apply there. It becomes positive a to the power of 12. And your answer is correct. So what happens now again, these are simplified. And what is left is minus a to the power of 10 plus a to the power of 12. You can stop here, or if you want to, you can write a to the power of 12 minus a to the power of 10. Both of them are the same. Okay, how many of you got this right? Not that many. I just want you to, the people who didn't find this right, if you don't understand, ask questions, but if you understand now, this is the only way. You have to teach yourself, okay, what was my problem that I couldn't solve this in the first place? There are 2 possibilities. Either you completely wrong, so I have to explain again, please ask, or you made some miscalculations. Miscalculations, you should also take lessons from your miscalculations if you want to improve. If you don't pay attention to your mistakes, of course you will not improve. Yeah, so this is important from learning points of view. Okay. Let us go to the next one now. This one, again, you need to analyze the problem. Okay, so let me solve this problem, then I will give you a point because I have seen some mistakes going on here. So you analyze the problem. What are the operations involved? Between these 2, there is a product here, but there is nothing that I can do with this product. 3x squared, I cannot simplify it more. But here I have a product. Here I also have a product. Here I have multiplication, and subtraction. I know the priority is with multiplication. So what you are supposed to do, you are supposed to write it like this. Let me just write it in some steps. Okay, so the first multiplication, of course it is multiplication and it has priority, but I cannot simplify it more. This is already in simplified form. So I just copy and paste it, nothing else. Here, between 2, x plus 1 and x squared minus x plus 1, I should do this term by term. Either I multiply 2 here first and find the answer and multiply it here, or I just multiply these two and then multiply 2 there. So if you don't mind, let me just do it in one way. I don't know which one is preferable for you, but let me keep -2 here for the time being, and then I just do this multiplication. So it means that I open a pair of brackets and I just start multiplying things in. So x times x squared is x cubed, x times minus x is minus x squared, so x times 1 is plus x, and then it is finished. I go back and check 1 times here, 1 times there, 1 times there. Of course it doesn't change anything at all, so it becomes x squared minus x plus 1. So I have always trained my brain in mathematics. It is always better to simplify and then proceed rather than writing everything and simplify at the end. So be patient. Don't want to do anything with the first one. It means that I have to copy and paste. For the time being, I want to keep -2 because here I see quite a lot of terms are cancelled. So this minus x squared and positive x squared are similar and opposite. This positive x and negative x are similar and positive. Opposite. So this becomes x to the power of 3 plus 1. Okay? So again, analyze the problem. There is a product going on. There is a multiplication going on here. Multiplication going on here. Subtraction. Which ones have the priority? Multiplications. For the first multiplication, there is nothing I can do. So just copy and paste it. And then minus, open another pair of brackets to do this multiplication. So this becomes 2x cubed plus 2. But the problem is not finished. Why? Because I told you that expand means write the expression without any pairs of brackets left. So you have to remove this pair of brackets again. So this means that you have to be careful. This is the famous negative sign that I have talked to you, okay? So this becomes negative 2x cubed. But this minus sign also goes here, okay? And this is the final answer. Anyone who got this right? Okay, good. Yes. But one thing, I don't know, might be, if I write this, I have seen students write like this. If I write 3 minus 2 x plus 1, x squared minus x plus 1. Okay, if I had written this in this form, do you think something will change about analyzing the problem? Because sometimes I see students write 3 minus 2 first. It is wrong, yes? It doesn't matter, because if I usually know, if I write it in that way, I don't know what happens in the brain of students. They do it right. But if I write it like this, they will start 3 minus 2 first, which is wrong, yes? Because that's the same analysis is the same. Here I have multiplications, and then I have subtraction. So you are not allowed to write 3 minus 2 first. So you have to do the multiplication. After that, do the subtraction. So remember about this fact as well. Okay, I think number 4 was harder. So if you could solve number 4 and number 3, definitely you should be also able to solve this completely correct. Okay, so let us check which answers, if any, are correct. So this was number 4, yes? This was number 4. So let us do number 5 now. So number 5 is equal to. Okay, analyze the problem again. I think now you have enough experience of how to do it, yes? Because you analyze the problem. It's a multiplication, subtraction. So we know what to do, yes? Yes? Only, okay, so let me just register it here for you. 12b squared, you said? Okay. Okay, let us calculate this. So what I have to do, I open 2 pairs of brackets. The sign between them is negative, is subtraction here. So I just multiply them. So 3a times 3a, everyone hopefully knows that 9a squared. If you don't know this exactly, please let me know. And then this times that, it becomes 6ab. And then this times this, is minus 6ba, and the other one is minus 4b squared. So what I have done so far, I have done this multiplication. I will also do this multiplication as before. So 3a times 3a is 9a squared. 3a times 4b is 12ab. Minus 4b times 3a, sorry, minus, yes, that's correct. Minus 4b times 3a is minus 12ba. And then minus 4b times 4b is minus 16b squared. Okay? So you see that 6ab and minus 6ba are similar and opposite. So they are gone. And 12ab minus 12ba are also similar and they are gone. I want to remove the pair of brackets. I don't need to do anything with this. There is nothing behind that. So it becomes 9a squared minus 4b squared. Yes? And then what happens here? I multiply the negative sign in. So this becomes negative a squared, but make sure that you understand. You have to write negative or positive? Positive. Because this negative sign also goes here. There is also a negative sign there, so it becomes 16b squared. So yes, your answer is completely correct, Ibrahim. So this one and that one are also similar and gone. And minus 4b squared plus 16b squared, as you told us. So this is 12b squared. So that's the correct answer. Yes? Okay. Now you have enough experience. So I want to give you a little bit time. So let us give again 6 minutes for 6, 7, and 8. Okay? I want you to solve 6, 7, and 8. Okay, so let us see how you have done these questions. So we are supposed to do number 6, yes? 6, 7, and 8. Okay, so for number 6, again, the analysis is simple, yes? So what I'm supposed to do, here is a multiplication going on, but I cannot do anything further for this simple thing. But here I have a multiplication here, multiplication there, and then finally I have subtraction between these two. So this is clear. I have to copy and paste this one, be patient and do this long one, and then after that remove the pair of brackets and do the subtraction. That's the analysis. Hopefully is very simple for you now after this experience. So yes, you can do. Number 6.
It's 135b to the power 6.
Once more.
135.
135. What do you mean?
Like
135. Yes. B
to the power 6.
to the power of 6. How many of you can confirm this? The same answer? The same? Okay, so good. Very good. So let us do that. So what we do is we just copy and paste this part. And then I can just even copy and paste 5 because here I have to do it in 2 steps because there are 2 multiplications involved. So then it becomes, I open a pair of brackets to be able to write the answer of this multiplication here inside. So a to the 3 times a to the 6 is a to the 9th. And the other one, this one multiplied here, what's the answer, everyone? So 3 a to the power of what? 6 b to the power of 2. And then a to the power of 3 multiplied there, so it is 9 a to the power of 3 b to the power of 4. And then let me make it a little bit bigger. And then I have taken this one and then multiplied here, so it becomes minus 3b squared a to the power of 6 minus 9 a to the power of 3b to the power of 4. And then finally minus 27b to the power of 6. But before doing the next step, I still prefer to be a little bit patient, to copy and paste everything so far, and then simplify this expression. Can I simplify this? I have a6b2, a6b2, so they are similar, but fortunately one of them is positive, the other one is negative, so they are actually cancelled out. And then here the same story, a to the 3, b to the 4, a to the 3, b to the 4. One of them positive 9, the other one negative. So that's also gone. So what is left for me is just a to the power of 9 minus 27b to the power of 6. Yes? And then still there is another multiplication going on, so I have to copy and paste this part and then keep the negative sign, multiply 5 in. This becomes 5a to the 9th, and then be careful, I have kept minus sign here, so I am moving 5 in, multiplying 5 in. So 5 times that is minus 135b to the 6. Yes, and then final step here is to remove the pair of brackets, but this is one of those famous negative signs. Behind the pair of brackets, it goes for every term inside. This becomes minus because it was already positive, now it becomes minus, but this was already negative. Because of that negative sign, it becomes positive. So that is very good news that actually you were able to solve this. Sorry, this is 9. I don't know why I wrote 2. This is 9. And now you see that these two are also cancelled. And as you told me, the answer is this expression. That's correct. Okay, let us go to number 7. Okay, is there any answer for number 7? No answers? Yes, Ibrahim? Plus 10x? 12. How many of you agree with this?
I got minus x squared minus 24x plus 12.
Plus 12. So minus 24. So this is the only difference between these two. Okay, let us check which one is correct. So the point is that, again, analysis of the problem is simple. Yes, let me see if it is in the... Yes. So the analysis of the problem, so you have a product here, you have a product there, and then you have a subtraction here. So what you are supposed to do, you have to do the multiplications first. But what I want you to do is to do this in your head. It's not hard, okay? So here, I will take this, so I will open 2 pairs of brackets. So number 7, a pair of bracket here, a pair of brackets there, and then between them is subtraction. Okay, but I multiply 12 in. The only difference is that you have to work with fractions here. So what I do, I multiply, let me just explain this. I multiply 12 by the first term, which is x squared. Let me just explain this once for all, because sometimes you get confused. If you want to multiply a whole number by a fraction, where do you multiply the whole number? Top. Why is that? Because you already know if you have a fraction and you are supposed to multiply it by another fraction, what is the rule? The rule is to multiply the numerators and then multiply the denominators, yes? But this is something that you need to know. Of course, you already know. But now what happens if I have a whole number without having any fractions and I want to multiply it by c over d? You need to interpret this whole number as also a fraction, yes? But which fraction? A over 1. Because if you have a whole number, it can also be viewed as a fraction. But a fraction whose denominator is 1. And then you multiply it by c over d. It means that you again do the same rule. Multiply the numerators, multiply the denominators. But when you multiply the denominators, because one of them is 1, it is d. So if you do not look what is happening in the middle, it is exactly like that you said. You multiply on top. Yes? So be careful about that. But one thing that I really want you to learn, it's good for your future if you change your habit. If it is possible, simplify these two first. For small numbers, it is not important at all. I know you can just do it whatever you like to. But when the numbers or the expressions become complicated, this is very important. You also can simplify here in this form. Not only that, you can also simplify in a crossway manner. Yes? Okay. So this is what I want to say. If I want to simplify this, of course I can multiply and then divide, but I want you to develop this habit in you, okay, so that you simplify these two in your head. What is left is 1 here, what is left is 3. 1 times 1 we don't care because that becomes 1, so it is 3x squared. So I want you to be able to do this quickly. So when I multiply 12 in, be careful, let us see how it works. If I multiply 12 in, what do I write immediately? I would write 3x squared. Yes? And now let us do another one. 12 times 5 over 2x. So you are supposed to multiply 12 by 5 over x2. If you don't get used to simplification, what you are supposed to do, you are supposed to multiply 12 by 5. Yes? Yeah, please keep quiet. Hello? Okay, 12 times 5x, it becomes 60x divided by 2. But then you have to multiply 12 by 5. But if you get used to this idea to simplify, 2 by 2 1 times, and then 12 by 2 6 times. Multiplying 6 by 5 is easier for our brain, so it becomes 30x. Of course, the answers are not the same, but I really prefer you to do this in this way. So then the answer becomes minus 30x. Okay, can you tell me what is the next answer? 12 times 1/3 plus 4, exactly. And then I go to the next one. Again, for the next one, don't do the multiplication. I want you to get used to this. So 2 over 5 times 10. This 5 and that are simplified 2 times, and 2 times 2 is just 4. So the answer is what? 4x squared. And then the other one in your head. 5 and 15 are simplified, sorry. And then it becomes 3 times multiplied by 2, 6. So it becomes minus 6x. And then finally, can you deal, what is the next number? 2 over 5? Not minus 8, yes. And now you need to remove the pair of brackets. For this one, you don't need to be careful at all. You just remove it. But for the next minus sign, you have to be careful. This minus sign is for this one, and for that one. So this becomes minus 4x squared plus 6x plus 8. And then let us see how many of you got the answer right. So this one is correct. Yes? Because 3x squared minus 4x squared, they are similar. It becomes minus 1x squared. But I told you that when you have minus 1x squared, you simply write minus x squared. Minus 3x, minus 30x, positive 6x, it becomes negative 24x. And then finally 4 and 8 becomes 12. So that's the correct answer. Yes? Okay. So what about number 8? So this one was correct in this. So did you get the correct answer for number 8 as well? At least you can read it for me so that I can write it here. 3a squared plus 5b squared plus 8ab. How many of you agree with this? Yes? Okay, so let us see. Anyone can confirm that this is true or false? No one has done it? Okay. So let us just check why you couldn't if you couldn't. So number 8, so you need to analyze the problem again. So let me change my color. It's fading actually. So here, how do you interpret the problem? You have a power and a power. So with the priority is with powers because powers are multiplications, yes? So again, what you need to do, so you need to write it in this way because I hope that you are not being tempted to raise this to power 2 plus this to power 2. You remember yesterday we talked about this. This is not correct, using the geometrical picture as well. So what you need to do, first of all, you need to interpret it in that way. So 2a plus b to the power of 2 means 2a plus b times 2a plus b. And then minus a minus 2b squared means a minus 2b times a minus 2b. And I think now you have really enough experience in calculating these things. So the only thing what matters is that interpret it in the correct way. And then just let us do it quickly this time. So I have a pair of brackets for the first one. I have a pair of brackets for the second multiplication, the difference between them. So I multiply this by that. It becomes 4a squared plus 2ab plus 2ba plus b squared. Yes, and then I do the same thing here. So this becomes a squared minus 2ab minus 2ba and then plus 4b squared. But before continuing, I simplify things. This one and that one becomes 4ab b squared plus b squared. Here it becomes minus 4ab. Yeah, so it becomes minus a squared minus 4ab plus 4b squared. And then I remove pairs of brackets. So the one I don't need to be careful at all because just nothing behind that. But for the second one, it becomes minus a squared. The second one becomes positive this time. The third one becomes negative for the same explanations, for the same reasons, yes? But then 4a squared and minus a squared are similar, so it becomes 3a squared. And then I have 4ab here, another 4ab there, so it becomes 8ab. Yes, so that was also similar to that one. And then b squared minus 4b squared, it's minus 3b squared. So what was the answer you provided us? It's a little bit different, yes? Okay. Anyway, any questions? Okay, so I think we have time a little bit. So before going to that, let me just pause recording. If you don't mind, let me just solve these two problems and then we are done. To be honest, this problem is a little bit lengthy, but even simpler, yes? Yes, yes, it will be here. Okay, so what we want to do, how many terms will be involved? That rule of thumb I told you. 3 terms are here, 6 terms here, so 18 terms will be involved. And that's a little bit boring calculation, but let us just do it. Okay, so let us just do it quickly because now you have enough experience. So number 9, so let me write with black. So number 9, so what happens? A cubed plus ab squared plus ac squared minus a squared b minus abc minus ca squared. It's done. And then I go to the next term. So it doesn't hurt if I go to the next line, so don't get confused. So I will multiply b here. So ba squared plus what? B cubed plus bc squared minus ab squared minus b squared c minus c. Let me write bca. That's it. And then I go to the next one plus ca squared plus cb squared plus c cubed minus cab minus bc squared minus c squared a. So it is not 18 terms finished. So it was not that actually lengthy. You can do it under 1 minute even, yes? So what happens? A cubed, b cubed, and c cubed are clearly alone. So let me just write them. A cubed plus b cubed plus c cubed. But now let us see what happens to the rest. I have ab squared here. Is there any ab squared here? Yes. They are actually cancelled. And I have ac squared. Any ac squared. The very end one is ac squared, but of course with negative sign. Cancelled. Minus a squared b, positive a squared b. Fortunately, they are also cancelled. And then minus abc appears here. Minus bca, that's the same story. And that's also the same. So it becomes minus 3abc. So we also took care of that one. So what is left? Minus ca squared, but this one also cancels this one. And then if I go further, bc squared and minus bc squared also cancelled. and minus b squared c, cb squared also cancel. So nothing is left. So these are the only terms that survive, yes? 18 terms, they can be reduced to 4 terms only. Okay. And then let me just do the last one quickly, and then we are done. So for the last one, let us just do it a little bit faster, because now you have really enough experience. Okay, so what I do, I have multiplication, multiplication, addition, subtraction. So what I do, I just write it as a plus, I multiply 2/3 in. What is the answer? 3 and 3 are cancelled, so I get 2a. 3 and 6 are cancelled. 2 times that is 4, so it's minus 4b. And the next one is minus 6. And then I have minus, I multiply 3/2 in, which is 3a, and then minus 6b, and then minus 9. And then I remove the pair of brackets. So a plus 2a minus 4b minus 6 minus 3a plus 6b plus 9. Yes? And now what happens? This one and that one and that one are similar, but fortunately they are cancelled. And then I have minus 4b plus 6b, which is 2b, and then minus 6 plus 9, which is positive 3. Yes? Okay, so that's it. Any questions? Thank you very much.